Okay, so here's the current satellite. It's getting back from a 3. It looks like we're going to have a 4 here shortly, Cat 4. And it's a forecast to be a 4. So the hurricane track has moved south like we anticipated, like we talked about the early morning briefing. And we're going to have a Cat 3 at landfall. And it looks like we're going to be Venice, possibly southward, south of Sarasota, Venice, down to Fort Myers is going to take the brunt of it. Let's go to the new hurricane forecast. There's so much information to share now. We've got a major landfalling hurricane now. It's going to spare Tampa probably the storm surge that we were fearing last night and early this morning. It's moved southward now about another 15, 20 miles. Major landfall at Venice at 8 p.m. tomorrow night is the official forecast, but we've got a Cat 4 tomorrow morning, roughly about 45 to 50 miles northwest of Fort Myers. So we're going to have catastrophic storm surge, catastrophic wind damage from the storm surge and the wind from Fort Myers, even south of Fort Myers, on up north. Let's go to Google Map here, and I'm going to make this real clear what it's looking like now. So the projected path now is coming into near the Venice area as a Cat 3 tomorrow evening. The timing has sped up. We're concerned about that last night. We briefly talked about it, but basically you're going to have all the way even down here at Naples, you're going to have storm surge, wind damage. You got about a Cat 4 about right here at about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and so about 30 miles to 40 miles east-northeast of the eye tomorrow morning, you're going to have 100-mile-an-hour winds plus coming on shore in this area. So Sanibel Island, you're going to have storm surge and extremely high winds starting early tomorrow morning. Tropical storm winds are actually starting this evening. Fort Myers, you're going to be on more of a storm surge now threat on the backside of the bay. This is also going to be coming up here similar to Charlie. I'll just go ahead and say it, this is Charlie 2.0. This is Charlie 2.0, different situation, much bigger hurricane, much more implications what's going to happen, but this is Charlie 2.0. It's going to come in farther southeast on the new models on the radar, watching satellite and radar data. It's to the right of the track, and it continues to shift to the right of the track. So right now, I think the new track now is coming into Venice, and it wouldn't be surprised if it comes in near Port Charlotte. So this is where the area it's going to be under the extreme damage as the eye comes ashore now. It's going to come ashore very close to Cat 4 to a very high Cat 3 during the day tomorrow, and tomorrow evening, it's forecast to make landfall at 8 p.m. near Venice, and that puts the Venice area, Inglewood, Mount Soto Cay, North Platte, Mordick, Port Charlotte, Porta Garna, Charlotte Harbor. This area right here is going to have devastating winds and storm surge and also tropical winds, but all this area here, Fort Myers, Captiva, Coral, Floral Beach, Fort Myers Beach, Naples, north side of Naples, prepared for damaging winds and storm surge in this entire area. Also on the National Hurricane Center, let me go back to that. The other thing's really important, let me go to storm surge. They've increased the storm surge now. It is now up another 2 feet, I believe. As a matter of fact, I know I'm right on that. Storm surge warning continues way up the coast, north of Tampa, all the way down. Looks like down almost to the upper Keys. Storm surge warning. But the thing I need to show you is, here we go. Storm surge inundation map is increased on this advisory, which we were also considering it was going to. The number I was looking for is it's 9 to 12. Here's the, let me see if that's the 5A, and that is not updated. I'm still looking for a particular map here. Just bear with me here. Peak storm surge, that's what I was looking for. Peak storm surge. Okay, they've increased that number. So that before it was 6 to 10 in Tampa Bay. That's now 5 to 8 because they're going to have offshore winds in Tampa Bay. But the numbers have increased now from the Longboat Key area, middle Longboat Key, southward, Batona Beach, now 8 to 12 foot storm surge. All the barrier islands and as well as inland. So the area from near Venice southward, the storm surge is increased on this forecast. Now, 8 to 12 foot storm surge. That means Venice, that means Port Charlotte, everything south down here, the storm surge is going to be worse. The wind impact is going to be worse, much higher wind impact now. And those are the things we're looking at. So that's what's going on there. Let me pull up another map here. Take just a second. Hope everybody's doing okay. And flip this back over here on me. So let me grab a couple other things here. So the bottom line, what we're talking about up north for, Tampa Bay and Clearwater, they're still going to have damage. They're still going to have inundation because what happens is a hurricane comes on shore. and this is extremely hard to explain this, but there's mid-level dry air comes in later tomorrow and tomorrow night at the mid-levels, and what happens is it kind of wants to cut off the precip or the heavy convection from the south, central, southeast, and eastern quadrants of the hurricane. So as the eye approaches Venice, the southern part of that is going to have less convection, and the heavier convection is going to be on the northwest, western, and the northeast side of the eye wall. With that heavy wind and heavy rain and storms coming down on that part of the eye, then that will produce the more damaging winds, because we've got closer to 140 to 150 mile winds, not the surface, but at about 5,000 feet at 850, winds are at about 149. So they're going to be winds about 150 to 165. Again, not at the surface, but at about 5,000 feet. And where you have those heavy convective bands on the northeast, east, and northwest eye wall as it comes toward Venice, from Venice northward, those heavy bands maintained tomorrow night moving inland. That's where you're going to have your destructive winds on that northwest, north, and northeast. Also, you're going to have your intense rainfall rates of 3 to 5 inches an hour coming in, and that's where you're going to have incredible rainfall in kind of inland storm water rain, right? From fresh water, we call it freshwater inland rain, from the heavy rains. And so 15 to 20, probably 25 inches now, probably going to be from Venice, Sarasota, into Tampa Metro, and then tracking east, northeast, up to Lakeland, to north of Lakeland. That's where the new swath of 15 to 25 inches of rain. So just take what we were projecting last night to the north of Tampa, move that south now about 20-25 miles, and that's the new threat. So you're still going to have offshore flow in Tampa Bay. You're still going to have some storm surge in Tampa Bay, not as high as 10 feet, but more like 5 feet now. Offshore, you're going to have wind damage. You're going to have a lot of street and urban flooding. It's going to be extreme there. Again, you start talking about 15, 20 inches in the metro area, you're going to have a lot of roads going underwater. That's a given, right, with this hurricane. So that's still going to happen. But the bigger threat now, and the model continues to shift east, and then actually the farther south the hurricane makes landfall, as we've talked about, the greater the chance it's going to be closer to Cat 4, high Cat 3. And that's now what we're seeing with the new advisory from the National Hurricane Center. I can tell you that the evacuations have stepped up tremendously this morning. From Sarasota southward down to Fort Myers, they are in full evacuation mode and getting everybody off everywhere. They started yesterday afternoon, but now it's went to a new level based on the new advisory and the new wind threat. But I'm extremely concerned now. I can say with pretty high confidence now, we're getting down to Venice, to Fort Myers is where the mass destruction is going to be, the massive storm surge is going to be, and that's where we're going to have major catastrophic damage, right? From Venice, just north of Venice on the north eye wall, southward down to Fort Myers, prepare for catastrophic damage and storm surge, right? That's the new message. That's the new threat, and that's where it's tracking at this time at 11:34 Eastern time here on Tuesday. So anyway, this is what we're going to be looking at. That's the threat. So that's what's happening right now. So basically, so we go back to the model. If you got any family members, I'm going to turn the camera back around the Google Maps. So if you got family members, I'm in Venice right now, and if you got any family members, Siesta Key, Bradenton, they've already been evacuation. But anyway, there's Inglewood, Port Charlotte, Boca Grande, any of these areas here, Putaguana, basically where Charlie came ashore, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, this area right here, I'm extremely concerned for major damage here in storm surge and the bays here, right? This is going to be bad news here based on the new data. All these outer barrier islands, Captiva, Sanibel Island, Fort Myers Beach, all these southward facing, because as a hurricane tracks up to your northwest, these winds are going to be southeast, then south, and then southwest, and it's come surging in here during the day tomorrow, right in through here, right? The big surge. So this is the things you got to be concerned about. The other thing that's extremely interesting, we need to look at this too. The hurricane doesn't stop and stall now. The forecasters at the advisory talks about the hurricane not only making landfall, but it will continue to come on ashore and move inland. Let me get the track here. Got to show you this new track on what it's trying to do here. Graphic here. Pop this up and let's go to the track. And let me give me a second. New warning. Hopefully I can show you this. It's going to be kind of hard to see. I'll do it on another map. So after it comes into Venice, we still have a hurricane, probably Cat 2 to Cat 1 east of Tampa, right? And then it goes up here up to near Lakeland as a tropical storm. But even at that point, we still have pretty high winds going on, right? We still have pretty hard winds there. And I'm going to go to another product here. And let's look at this. So basically the bottom line is the threats moved south. It's still going to be a lot of damage. And that's fine, Jeff. And I've got people telling me some things here. Give me just a second here. So let's log in here. I'm going to just pull up a couple things. Yep. A certain product I want to find here. There's my tropical page, and here we go. Wave height and track. Let's play this out. Give me just a second. Yeah, based on the new data, you're going to see the updates are going to change here shortly with the new track and also the new what we're seeing on wave heights and things. But I'm waiting for that data to update. But let me see if I can get the track in here for you guys. So basically the bottom line is message is when the thing comes ashore and tracks northeast, it's going to continue to produce damaging winds well inland all the way to central Florida, all the way to Orlando, all the way to northwest Orlando, Lakeland, up in that direction, right? So those are the things I wanted to get across here. Let me find this. Trying to get this. Yeah, this is a Barron exclusive weather. What I'm getting ready to show you here. Let me find what I'm looking for here. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So here's the forecast, right? This is in the Barron threat net application we have for our customers. So there's the times. We got 8 a.m. We got a Cat 4 just west of Naples. It's moving northeast. Then we got a Cat 3 tomorrow making landfall near Venice, right? And between Port Charlotte and Sarasota. The models have trended that way. And then we've got a Cat 1 just to the southeast of Tampa, but not very far, right? And even then, even when it's a Cat 1, it's still got 86 gusts to 104. So you're going to have power outages. You're going to have damaging winds well inland. This is not stop at the coast, right? Because it's going to come in stronger. And then we got a tropical storm northwest of Orlando there, 86 miles an hour gusts, 70 to 86. So you're going to have near hurricane force winds even at the following day, right? As you get into Thursday, 8 p.m., look how slow this is moving. Meanwhile, it's raining 2 to 4 inches. Then it's just northwest of Daytona Beach. As you get an 8 a.m. on Friday, 58 to 70 mile an hour gusts, right? So you're going to have statewide power outages, especially in this whole central corridor now. It's going to go up about the I-4 corridor. And similar to Charlie, this is very similar to maybe just north of Charlie and that consensus. But anyway, so your Cat 4, Cat 3, Cat 1, tropical storm. But even with the tropical storm, an intense flash flooding from Sarasota, Tampa, well inland to northwest of just anywhere on the track and to the left of the track. The Villages, Spring Hill, all this area up through here, Ocala. All these areas are going to have extreme heavy rain. Gainesville up to just west of St. Augustine, but this is going to all have that 15 to 25 inches rain near and to the left of the track, right? On that northwest side loaded. That's going to be the deal. So here's 8 p.m. Tonight, the Cat 4. It's coming off the coast now as a Cat 3, 132 gusts to 161. Guys, this is a major landfalling hurricane, right? And as I said before, this is going to be, this is kind of Charlie 2.0. It's the only way you can describe it, right? That's what it looks like. So anyway, that's the current satellite. Now up to the northeast there, it looks really ominous as far as the eye. It's very strong, and it will be Cat 4 today for sure, right? As we get as this goes on. So anyway, I want to show you that, bring that up to date. The track's changed a little bit. Some good news. Some good news for Tampa. The storm surge won't be as high as we were forecasting last night and this morning. The bad news is the people south of Sarasota, Venice down to Fort Myers is going to be worse. The damage is going to increase now. The storm surge is going to be higher, and you're going to have a lot more higher storm surge, and you're going to have more damaging winds farther south now. That's the unfortunate thing about that. So we're down here. We're going to start scouting more areas, and we'll start streaming as we get into later tonight and tomorrow morning, and we will go from there. So anyway, stay tuned. Again, heed those evacuation warnings because it's going to be a pretty rough day as we get down the road here later today in the morning. All right, everybody be safe, please. It's going to be a really bad event. Thank you.